Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily Devotional. We continue in the book of Jonah. Today's meditation is entitled Jonah Began. Let's read from Jonah 3 verse 4. Jonah began by going a day's journey into the city, proclaiming, 40 days and Nineveh will be overthrown. In summary, for anything to happen, it must be begun. I know it sounds obvious, let me say that again. In summary, for anything to happen, it must be begun. For anything new to start, for anything to change, it must be begun. The first step is absolutely essential for any progress in anything. My experience is that taking a first step on any task is like stepping into a river that carries you along into completion. It's that first step that's the hardest thing to do. I love what J.R.R. Tolkien writes in The Lord of the Rings. It's a dangerous business, Frodo, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. If we want to get things done or become more effective in anything, and particularly as we're looking at in this series, in evangelism, for example, we must make a practical first step into the river, as it were. It's easy to talk about doing hard things, but it's the doing that's really important. The church, broadly, is often quite good at having conferences and training on things like reaching our communities for Jesus. But taking steps of obedience can be lacking. We can be like overweight men, boldly giving advice on health and fitness. It's all talk, but very little action. Like you, I'm sure I certainly feel that I talk better than I perform in many things, like evangelism, for example. Jonah's mission against all hope is successful. What begins with a first step ends up touching the king of Nineveh. We never know what that first step of obedience might lead to, do we? We never know where that first step might lead to, but I know that if you don't take it, exactly where that will lead to, exactly where you are now. We read about the response of those in Nineveh. The Ninevites believed God. A fast was proclaimed, and all of them, from the greatest to the least, put on sackcloth. When Jonah's warning reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his royal robes, covered himself with sackcloth, sat down in the dust. Chapter 3, verses 5 to 6. In response, then, take your first step to serve, invest, and invite. What's your first step to engage with your community outside of the church? Could you arrange to meet someone? Could you adjust your daily routine in some way? Taking that first step is crucial to turning our desire to bring people to Jesus into a reality. God bless you.